Hello, my adoring equals on the interwebs. It's been a minute. I went on vacation, talked about it briefly, had every intention of keeping my channel updated with videos while on vacation, but that became impossible. But I did create videos that I'm going to edit and put together for the upcoming days. But this trip caught me so unexpectedly, and it was a roller coaster of emotion. I kind of wanted to debrief in today's video. This video is definitely more for me than it is for you. It's my therapy session. Let's start it. Okay, so this trip was basically to go from the West Coast, where in the last 2 years, my boyfriend and I have just completely changed who we are as human beings, for the better, I believe, and my main goal on this trip was to show people that, and to show people that I've grown and I've learned, and I want to be a different person, but still hold true to the person I've been my whole life, growing up, because I think that's important. It's like the yin-yang, you know, you want to hold on, but you also want to grow, so it's like you need that solid foundation. But we went back, and this trip from the get-go was completely opposite of anything I'd expected. First, starting out the gate, we ran into problems with State Patrol, and I want to do a video regarding this. If you don't believe that we have Border Patrol along every state, you're crazy. The State Patrol is militant as fuck. We got pulled over twice. The second one was in Oregon, and it was a girl, and she was really sweet as can be, and the only thing that happened weird with that one was she tried to covertly, without me understanding what was going on, get me to open the glove box to make sure we weren't carrying. And then they always are bringing up that they have drug sniffing dogs or canine dogs that they'll bring to the car if need be, if we're traveling with drugs. And that getting thrown out there in general just makes me feel like, okay, you pulled me over for speeding or a blinker, and it seems weird that you're jumping straight up to, now you're going to question me about drugs. Like, what got you there? You know, there is such a shift in our policing in this country, it's fucking terrifying. But the one heading back towards the north, what I like to call the Midwest, because the Midwest doesn't make sense to me, it's not the middle of the West, I don't understand it. So the north, while we were heading back there, we got stopped in Idaho. Now, you don't want to get stopped in Idaho, apparently, because this dick was a dick, man. He came up and, out the gate, he was like, so we have drug-sniffing dogs, are they going to be needed? And we were like, wait, what'd you pull us over for? And he was like, oh yeah, my bad. You didn't put your blinker on for 5 full seconds. He was like, it was only on for 2.5. That's the most made-up, ridiculous lie I've ever heard in my life for a lane change, because I remember 15-year rewind when I was in driver's ed, you had to, like, keep the blinker down for a turn, like if you're turning, but to go in another lane, you literally hold it with your hand, and you don't even press it far enough for it to, like, hold itself, right? Because once you let go, it flicks back up. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so that was bullshit. And what they really pulled us over for is the illegal machines that they have set up to read the speedometer on people driving by to see what they're doing. Well, we passed that machine in a pack of cars. So I could tell straight out the gate this state patrolman was lying to me, which is fucked up, about why he pulled us over, and it was actually because he caught someone in the speed trap going over. It wasn't us. Those things are so faulty. I don't know how they can be used to give tickets. It's the most asinine thing. It's got to be illegal. But he pulled us over, and he was like, no, it was for your blinker. And we were like, whatever. And he threatened us with the canine sniffing dogs. We were like, he asked if we had drugs in the car. We said no. In my head, I did not lie. Pot is a plant. It's medicinal, and 4 states have legalized it. Therefore, I do not live by the law created by old white men with saggy balls who are bitching that the hemp industry is ruining, you know, the big pharma industry. I'm sick and tired of living by that fallacy. Like, we're supposed to pretend, oh, pot hurts people. It fucking doesn't. It actually heals people. And that takes me into the next part of the story. We got away scot-clean. Nothing happened with the pow-pow, but it was really fucked up. And it's a weird situation to feel like you're in a militant Nazi Germany situation when you're getting pulled over for a blinker. Like, really fucked up. But when we got home, my boyfriend's mom suffers from MS. My mom, what I came to find, is also suffering from something we're not even sure of, and it breaks my heart to see both of our women, our maternal figures, already kind of getting kicked off their pedestal a little bit. They're too young. That was my main concern. They're too young. So my boyfriend and I came back. We bought each of our mothers a vaporizing pen and a cartridge of CBD oil. And these cartridges ain't cheap, okay? Well, what's really weird is my boyfriend grew up in a really religious, conservative family, yet his mother gladly accepted the gift and used it and then talked to us about it the next day. She was fabulous about it. But she, like, turns her cheek to everything else, whether it comes to diet, lifestyle change, ideas we have regarding religion or politics. All of it gets shut down in his family. It's so weird. But then, the weed thing, they're accepting. My family, accepting of almost everything else, however, won't touch weed. And I know my mom smoked weed, and she also copped up to doing speed back in the 60s. Granted, she was 20. It was the prime of her life. Okay, let her have it. But it's weird to know that, to joke about that. She laughs about that. She knows I smoke weed. I smoked weed at her house, and yet she still won't do it. I find that weird. It has been ingrained into so many Americans that this plant is illegal. It is not. Please remember that just 100 years ago, alcohol was illegal and prohibition happened, and we gotta stop falling for men making laws against men. I've learned so much on this trip. Can I just say, this channel is gonna morph into something way fucking different. I swear to God, as I live my life every day, I get less and less censored. It's self-censorship. We are self-censored up the wazoo, and I've noticed that in this channel there's sometimes I want to do things, say things, act things out, do whatever I want, and I won't because I'm self-censoring, saying, well, that won't be received as funny, or that's going to be too politically incorrect. But I'm to a point. After this trip home, after I realized that the people in your life who call you friends, even as you move away and say they want to stay in touch, they don't, and you find out that you're friends out of convenience, and you find out that even when you go back home, a lot of people are willing to avoid you because they've seen your Facebook. It's like social media has ruined friendships, and that's real. We joke about it, but while we were home, a lot of people avoided seeing us just by messages we've given on Facebook or political stances we've taken. And if you watched my videos, I went from being duped into buying into Bernie Sanders to now feeling that voting in and of itself is stupidity. So I feel like talking about the ignorance is the best thing to do. Well, apparently it is pushing those that loved me out of my life, and it's really weird because they didn't want to reconnect on this trip home. Some lied and said they did and just blew me off, and then others straight up said, no intent. But it's really weird that that's all based on perspectives and opinions and ideas about life. It's all via social media. None of it was done in person. That's what I find really weird. There's also a story about when I was home in Wisconsin, because my boyfriend's Minnesota, I'm Wisconsin, and when I was home, I was speaking to some of my mom's best friends growing up, and these women have been in my life for a long time. I always called them the pack of lesbians because they never needed men. They just had large enough clits to take care of themselves. It was crazy, and they were very strong and masculine energied and, very social. I grew up around that, and that's where I get my personality from. I'm the most feminine thing in the room when we all speak. But the funny part is, when I went home, I started to realize they have an agenda. And since I've left home, these two women have taken my mom from this amazing, spirited, strong-willed individual who speaks out when things aren't right and really stands up for herself. They've made her into this meek, timid, Republican, forgetful person. It's been an awful experience to realize what happened to my mom, both psychologically and emotionally, and my heart's breaking. Like, just being away from her, I feel sad. And I'm not blaming this on the friends she has there. I'm saying people contribute in weird ways to bad habits. And my mom is going through a weird time in her life right now. And this week I'm hoping to get a video dedicated just to her. She's such a strong person, and she's surrounded by really ignorant, weak people. And it's bothering me, and it's hurting her, and I want to yank her out of it. But that's just me wanting to control everything, and also what I've learned on this trip is I have no control, and I have to sit back and just hope that people hear me. I'm really trying to speak to people I love about truth and just make sure they're okay, and chasing happiness in the right way, and then realizing that if you chase happiness, you'll never catch it because it's fucked up. Okay, like the things I'm learning, the things people taught me on this trip, I have changed. This trip opened my eyes. I cannot even express in words in this video just how upsetting but gratifying and rewarding and hard this trip was. It was so weird. I've not cried on a vacation this hard ever in my life. I was bawling myself to sleep some nights, and yet other nights I was laughing so hard I was crying. And it's weird, and I want to express this in a good way. I want to express this in a way where it shows that this is for nobody but myself. This is a documented piece of time. I just want to remember this experience, especially the parts with my mom. And my surrogate dad, Patrick, he was amazing as well. I had these amazing connection experiences. I reconnected with my sister via phone, and we're mending, and things are good. And I kind of forced it onto myself just on behalf of my mother to make sure she is going to receive the best care she can, and she can't receive that without me and my sister working together. So good things happened on this trip. Scary things happened on this trip. An orgy may or may not have happened on this trip. I don't know. Look, I'm not going there. Weirdly, I was invited to a sex party in Minneapolis, but that I did not go to. But there was some downtime. Okay, anyway, I just wanted this update to be on this channel. Let me tell you, I've never been more proud of this channel. That, let me tell you, was strictly to myself in the future. But if any of you are happy for this channel too, give it a like or something. My God. I told a lot of people that I'm really close to that I'm just really upset how some of the closest in my life have given no attention or no shits about this channel, and that it is hard. It's, you know, my own pride is bruised is all, but it's hard to see that this is what I'm trying to dedicate my time to, and because I'm not chasing a paycheck or after money, then, you know, I'm weird. Anyway, I just wanted to get this out there. Please let me know, have you ever had a trip, an experience, a vacation, or some family time that really just changed you, impacted you in such a way? I mean, this journey is becoming the most exciting thing I have ever done in my life. Just waking up and realizing that I was explaining to one of my best friends, Harper. She's this beautiful person who actually bought me the coolest gift this week. I'm going to wear it in a lot of these videos. I'll show you later. But, she asked me, she was like, so you've said you were both depressed and dealing with depression, but also the most happy you've ever been. Explain. And I understand that being super confusing, but I was trying to explain this feeling of feeling so isolated and so alone and so deprived of anything or anyone that you felt you loved or you felt loved from, and just being completely cut off and disappointed in people and having your expectations shattered every corner you turn. There's just this really low feeling, but at the same time, I'm realizing how strong I am. And I'm realizing I can depend on myself for any and everything, and I don't need anyone beyond this flesh machine I'm walking around in, and my spirit is so strong. And meditation has gotten me to places chasing money never will. It's just been this crazy ride, and it's so isolating and so sad, but at the same time it's so gratifying and it's blissful and it's scary, and I want to talk to people about it. That's what this channel's for. And I'm so grateful to, you know, some of my best friends, the family I did meet up with, and people who sat and listened and gave me the respect and time that they thought I deserved. And it felt really good. It impacted me in a way, and I wanted to say thank you. And that's what this video is. Take care of yourself today. Peace.